What's up guys, Ben Milliken here, back from Mystery Tackle Box. And you know, it's summer, it's really hot. You can tell by my sun hat right now, it is steamy hot, and that's a great thing because summer is one of my favorite times to get out and catch a bunch of fish in all different areas of the water column on all different types of baits. So in today's video, I'm going to show you 4 different baits, 2 of them for more open water situations and 2 of them for more up close cover flipping shallow situations that you can load the boat with this summer. Let's go. Alright, so first let's talk about 2 different baits we can fish in more open water scenarios. Not necessarily super deep, but more open water scenarios. We'll say that. The first one we're going to start with is the Lucky Craft Gunfish. This is a really cool, unique topwater bait. A lot of people look at it and they see the cupped mouth and they're thinking, you know, it's a popper. It's going to pop in the water really well. Well, that's not true at all. It naturally wants to walk extremely well, and that's what it does. And the cool thing about it is it doesn't have a real super loud knock. It doesn't have a big surface disturbance. And so on days like today, when it's almost completely slick calm, that's when this thing's gonna shine. And there's really not that many topwater baits that are like that it really excel in that early morning, slick calm conditions that you oftentimes have in the summer. You know, without a doubt, my favorite way to fish this bait, especially in summer months, is low light conditions like we just talked about, but also fishing it on grass lines and on points. And if you can get both together, that's even better. Topwater walking baits are always great in those situations, but the Lucky Craft Gunfish is an absolute staple because it is so much more subtle and natural than what a lot of people are throwing. You know, in the summer, a lot of those bait fish have just hatched. They're only 1 or 2 inches long, and so when you can mimic those with the bait that just spits a little bit on top of the water, makes a really nice natural clicking noise, doesn't make a ton of commotion on those slick calm mornings, you can get a ton of bites, especially on grass lines and points. Now as the sun gets higher in the sky, you're gonna definitely want something that still at the same time mimics those smaller groups of bait fish, some of the smaller bluegill and shad that are all over the place in our lakes, but gets down a little bit lower in the water column because those bass in the middle of the day generally don't want to come up and eat something on those same points and grass lines. And that's when I turn to a small swim bait like this little Optimum swim bait that came in my mystery tackle box. These guys can be absolute killers. So let me tell you where I like to throw these. Now again, you're going to want to throw these on the same points, deeper grass lines, stuff like that. But like I said before, you want that bait to get down the water column. This is a bait, it's great to throw because it's a sinking bait. So it's a sinking swim bait and you can control the depth of where that is the entire time. That might seem really simple, but there's not that many baits you can do that with that you can fish effectively through different areas of the water column. You know, if you find on your depth finder, if you're in a boat, if you see a big school of bluegill or a big school of shad off a ledge down deep or 10 or 15 or 20 feet of water, you can let that little swim bait sink all the way down to the bottom. Now, if you're fishing a grass line that's only in 2 or 3 feet of water, same exact thing. You can fish it right around the ambush points, wherever that grass comes to a point, where there's a little pocket in the grass, if there's wind blowing up on it especially, and just wind that little swim bait by there. And I can about guarantee you're gonna be really happy with the results because fish cannot resist these little tiny swim baits. They get a ton of bites on just a very natural straight retrieve. Now, as you guys can see behind me, we made a little bit of a move up to fish some different types of cover for these last 2 baits for this video. The first bait I love to fish around docks, riprap, stuff like this, is a really flappy craw bait. This is called the Biospawn Vile Craw. This bait is an absolute killer during the warm summer months when those fish are up tight underneath those docks in that shade. So let's get to flipping around. I'm gonna share a couple more tips with you guys. You know, one thing I don't think gets talked about enough when you're flipping docks is efficiency, especially in the summer months. I don't get a lot of bites where I'm just barely working and dragging that little craw along. You aren't gonna get a lot of bites dragging it on the bottom. These fish are related to these docks because it's shade, so it cools the water a little bit, and because there's a ton of bait fish around them. So they're looking up in the water column, they're waiting for a bait fish to stray out from the pack, or just a bait fish to come swimming by their face or falling down or whatever, any other piece of food that might fall down off that dock, and that's when they're going to eat it. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be slowly dragging that little craw bait along the bottom. So when I'm talking about efficiency, I'm saying I flip it into that piece of cover, that dock post or something. We're going to let it go to the bottom, it's going to shoot down, it's going to be really flappy, those fish are going to eat it right there, or I'm going to pop it up once or twice, and that's it. It's on to the next post. You don't need to spend a whole bunch of time. You can waste so much time just dragging it around in dead water or fishing a way that the fish really aren't going to react to that bait. Now when I'm up here flipping cover in these really tight quarters in the summer months, I don't want to be undermanned, and so having heavy gear is very, very important to me. I always use at least a 7'6" flipping stick. This is a heavy action stick. I don't want anything that's medium heavy or has a fast tip or anything. I want that rod to load up nice. And I got a fish on right there. And the fish came off, of course, because I wasn't paying any attention. I was talking to you guys. Little vile craw eater. That was actually a pretty good fish right there. But anyways, like I was saying, you don't want to be undermanned. You want to be able to move fish away from cover like that guy right there. And in order to do that, you need a heavy rod, 7:1 gear ratio reel at least, and 20 or 25 pound fluorocarbon for sure. Whew, that's all I got for you guys today. It is a hot one out here. When it's super hot like this, be sure to try the 4 different ways that I showed you in this video, and you'll catch a whole bunch more fish this season. Whether you're fishing out off the grass line or out deep, or you're up close and personal like we were when we caught them with this vile craw, I can about guarantee those tips will help you catch more fish. Don't forget to go down, subscribe to Mystery Tackle Box channel, and leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of this video or if you learned something, and we'll catch you very, very soon. I'm out of here.